Hello everyone and welcome back to another Devlog episode of ARKHIVE. In case you missed the trailer the other day, this Sunday, the 5th of March, will be our first public playtest. This playtest will be all focused on refining our movement mechanics and combat systems. Now there'll probably be a lot of bugs and issues with the build for this test, but that is to be expected and we want to hear about it. If you'd like to participate, all you have to do is go to itch.io and search for ARKHIVE. This will take you to the download page and the file. Alternatively, there'll be a link directly to the itch page in the description below. Once downloaded, you will then run the exe file and you are good to go. All we ask is that if you decide to try the playtest, make sure to fill out the feedback form linked on the main menu. So this week we decided as a team to have what we called a sprint week. This just means that for this week we would smash out a set of tasks required for the playtest to be functional. I'll let the others explain what they got up to this week, but first I'll quickly explain what I did. So my week consisted of a number of different tasks, from project management stuff to art and design. So instead, I'll just highlight some of the interesting tasks that you'll probably want to see. Firstly, I spent some time creating some animations for the Alvarium soldier. This involved creating a walk, run, idle, and attack animations, but also made a lost detection of player and spotted player animations. This was overall an easy process, with the fun part of trying to work out how the Alvarium will move and come to life. Another task I took on this week was creating a combat scene. I'm not going to spoil too much about how the scene works, as you'll need to figure it out when experiencing the playtest. But as you can see by this footage, I started with a fairly complicated design, but found there were still issues with the Alvarium movement. And just in case these issues couldn't be fixed by the playtest release, I decided to simplify it down a bit, just to like a basic room. The last task I would like to show you is the bullet making process. The programming for the bullets was ready to go, but at the time Kevin was testing with just small pellets, which weren't really satisfying to shoot. So first, in Photoshop, I made the sprites which all had a customizable colour. This colour would work like symbolism for the bullet, but also have a subtle glow effect. Then, once done, I imported the art and set up the prefabs. This was a fairly straightforward process, but I took it a step further and tested out some bullet trails for them as well. I'm really happy with the current bullet design, but fortunately I have designed the prefabs that can easily be changed later if need be. So that's it from me this week. I hope you'll enjoy the playtest, and I know the team is really excited to share it with you, but I'll give you another update next week. Bye.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to week 3 of our devlog series. As you already heard from Bryce, we are entering a short sprint of sorts to get a playtest demo out by this Sunday, to be precise. So yeah, this is what I've been working on for the past week. So mainly weapon stuff. I've got the auto fire shooting for the rifle, so as you can see, I hold click, it shoots. I've also added the new sounds that Polly has created for us. So this is the rifle, shotgun, sniper. She's also given us reload SFX for each gun as well. Other than that, I've done other minor tweaks just to get the guns going just much better. I've also added a laser aim assist here. As you can see, it's just fallen off there. As you can see, the laser, as it reaches the wall, it reduces, and it just helps the player know where they're aiming when they're playing the game. As you can see, another thing I've been working on is the heads-up display. So the UI you see on the screen here, I've got HP on the top left. It doesn't do anything at the moment, so it's just placeholder, but by playtesting in the weekend, it will do something. You'll get damaged. At the bottom left, you can see the ammo that you have. You shoot, it goes down. You reload, it reloads. Med kits here, they don't do anything yet because we don't have health just yet, but eventually we will make it so you can heal. So another thing I was in charge with doing was the scenes and wire framework for the playtest demo. So just the creation of the scenes and how it flows through for the playtesters. I can't show you anything just yet because it's a bit of a spoiler, but just stay tuned and try out our game on Sunday when it comes out. See you in a bit.
Hello, my name is Christopher Reyes, and currently I'm working on a testing feedback form, which I'll be contributing to the group. I've added sections which are dedicated to answering specific questions regarding mechanics, atmosphere, flow of the game, as well as the level design and much more. Hopefully with the testing, we'll be able to acquire much essential feedback that will go towards improving the game functions and mechanics as it goes on, since this is just the first round of testing and we'll have many more testing weeks to go through before we decide to polish it until it's done and ready. So that's all.
This week I got the characters finished and then sorted. I've broken Falcon apart into limbs so that it was ready to be rigged on Unity. Once finished, I played around with Unity to get the feel for the program and attempted to animate something, in which I eventually did, and yeah, I think I'm feeling confident about Unity now.
Hey guys, Josh here. In this round of development, I've mainly been concerned with game mechanics. Namely, how does the level make use of these mechanics to challenge and intrigue the player's journey throughout the game in interesting and unique ways? I learned a lot about how to do this just by coming up with and sketching random ideas that I had with platform and enemy placement, and then testing them in Unity just to get a vague feel for what effect this has on the player. Even though we don't have every mechanic programmed in yet, this still yielded some useful ideas that I can apply in future level designs that I come up with. This also led to my decision to utilize the shape of the levels we currently had to make them each showcase a different aspect of our game. For example, one of the levels is a very vertical space, so naturally it will be the main area where the player can use their movement options to navigate tricky and dangerous terrain. Another level has a very confined pathway for the player, so this makes it a good area to focus on combat with the Alvarian. With our first playtest coming up, I thought about what was the most important thing I needed to know before I can start building levels for our game, and that would be the player's physics. It affects how big the platforms will be, how zoomed out the camera is, how encounters are spaced out in the level, how difficult the level will be, and so on and so forth. So that's what I took into account when I built the levels for our playtest. These levels are designed to test what players are capable of achieving in terms of platforming challenge and what physics settings make sense for them.
Welcome back. We made a bit of a start on the AI, so we're using a plugin by Anthill AI, which is a goal-oriented action planner. So I've made a little plan for the soldier. So they've got some goal, which is all of their targets are dead. This will never be achieved at this point, just so that it always has something to work towards. It's kind of a sad metaphor. The default state is idle, so that's where they're just sort of going to stand there, have a separate animation, then they'll patrol until they can see a target. So that's working. And then each action has a game object, so when I hit play, it spawns them in as children for the game object, and then it sets them active to its active state, so it's in patrol state. I go to scene, it's in patrol, and then it switches to idle, because you've got to get the animations properly hooked up. That's how it swaps between it. And then each of those game objects has a script on, which inherits from an AI state, has a create, enter, execute, exit, destroy virtual functions. So like a typical state machine. So that's going well.
Hey friends, quick little update for everyone on the sounds that I've been working on this week. So I've been finalizing all of the weapon sound effects, so weapon handling, weapon reloading, as well as actual gunshot sound effects. I've really enjoyed experimenting with different reverbs to really get that tail end of the gunshot exactly the way that we want it. My process this week's involved a lot of layering samples with recorded sounds. For example, I used a sample of Sci-Fi energy kind of sound that I had in my own little sound library. I layered that with some recorded sounds of metal clanging together that I recorded at home, and my mic stand being packed up, so shortening back into its little compact self. The sound of all the legs and all the little different bits closing and even extending as well really helped. So layering all those together, that was really handy to make some reload sound effects. Some of them turned out quite nice. Also this week I've been working on Foley. So anyone that doesn't know what that is, basically Foley is any noise that the character will make. So it's generally talking about footsteps, clothing, rustling, if, you know, they pick up whatever the character's doing, if they pick a glass up, put it down, that's Foley. So yeah, I've started on footsteps, again playing around with different reverb to get that perfect like metal on metal, like suit of armor on spaceship kind of sound. Moving forward this week, I will be working on more character Foley, so suits of armor, as in footsteps isn't the only thing that you want to hear when your character's moving around. You need to hear ruffling of clothing, in this case again metal. So yeah, just a lot of movement sounds is what I'll be working on next. So thanks for listening to my little update, and catch you guys next time.